Welcome back to Reliving Retro. This is our Season 4 recap, where we go through all 12 games that we played in Season 4, and we rank them. And if you're new here, we pick one game at random and invite a guest on to rate it in 5 categories: story, gameplay, visuals, sound, and aged. No guest today, as we are just recapping Season 4. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, dude. I feel awesome.
Did you have a hard time numbering these, or?
You know what? I think a little bit. I think there's a portion where I had some trouble, and it's mainly the middle portion that was really tough for me.
That's always the hard part, right?
Yeah, it's like the top 2 were obvious, and then the bottom 2 were obvious for me, but everything else was like, I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's crazy stuff we got going on here.
Yeah.
This episode's coming out a little bit later than it normally would, due to some scheduling conflicts, whether it's, Yaiser had to work early, so we couldn't record late, or my kid didn't want to go to bed, so we couldn't record late. Stuff is wild, you know what I mean? So you got to just move on and deal with the next day. That's what we did.
That's what we do.
Yeah. So let's get into this, I guess. Basically how we do this is we look at the 12 games at the end of the season, and then we kind of rank them in order of, I guess it's kind of a combo thing, right? It's either how much we enjoyed them while we were playing them, and kind of a mix of which ones do we want to go back to. Right? I mean, that's at least how I do it. You feel the same way?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, cool. Before we get into this, though, what are you currently playing, Yaiser?
Oh, geez. I'm still playing a little bit of Mario Baseball here and there, so maybe a little bit of a spoiler alert for things to come.
Right, you're in a league, right?
Sort of, yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah, I play some non-ranked games. Yeah,
that's cool though.
Yeah, trying to get better so I can get in those tournaments maybe one day. But other than that, I'm not really playing anything, dude.
I get you.
Yeah.
I'm currently playing. Well, I just got done with Shredder's Revenge on the Switch.
Oh, sick.
That's a fun one. Yep. And my buddy let me borrow Metroid Dread. So I'm going to try that out, I think, when I'm done with Shadowrun here, which we are both currently playing for the show. And you can check out that episode next week, and we will have the guys from Drink a Beer, Play a Game join us to talk about Shadowrun. And you've been playing the Genesis version, right?
I have. Yeah.
Yep. And I've been playing the Super Nintendo version, and they are extremely different. So it'll be fun to talk about the differences.
Cool.
All right. Let's get into it. At number 12, we'll go back and forth, right? So number 12, do you want to kick it off?
I'll start. Yeah, sure.
All right, go ahead, buddy.
I put Quake at the bottom.
Quake 64.
That's the one.
I didn't have, a great time with Quake, so I'm right there with you. Quake is my number 12 as well. I played Doom 64 a lot as a kid, and I felt like this game just made me want to play Doom 64 because I was like, that's better. So I'd rather just play that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe the other Quakes are better, but man, it seems so long ago that we played Quake, right?
It does.
It seems like years ago that we played Quake 64.
Yeah, a couple of these I forgot were this season.
Oh, like the next one for me, let's just bounce back and forth here.
Sure.
I have War of the Monsters at number 11.
Yeah.
Same for you?
Same for me, man. God, that game pissed me off.
Oh, this is the one where we have the shorts of you, right? And you're like not
just angry.
Yeah, the controls were kind of rough.
Yeah.
They were. This game was actually the first game I beat of the year. So that was cool, but it was really tough to just get the controls down. It never felt fluid at any point.
No.
So it just felt like we were just, at least in my experience, I played as like the big ape guy. Who'd you play as again?
I played as a few different guys. I'd be fucked if I remembered.
Oh, like the names, right? Yeah. You played like the robot guy.
I think
like
so.
The Transformer dude.
Oh yeah, that's the first guy I played. Yeah. The fake. Yeah.
Robot.
The Gundam I was calling him.
Yeah. some of these guys were super slow, and I felt like it was impossible to even try to run around on this map, fighting all these different enemies and stuff. But the ape guy wasn't too slow. I felt like he was probably like the most basic character. Like if you're like just getting into the game, he was probably good to get to try out. And I still couldn't figure it out. I mean, I figured it out enough to beat it, I guess, but I never at any point felt like I was good at the game.
No. Between the camera being so shitty and just being so easily stun locked by combos, it's just like the most frustrating thing I've done.
I forgot how frustrating that can be. Just getting stun locked by the combos was so awful.
Yeah.
That was not fun. All right, what do you have for number 10?
You might be upset with this one, but I've got Maniac Mansion down there.
Hey man, I get it. I'm not upset. I just hate you a little bit.
I don't know, man. I couldn't do the whole point and click thing. It was rough.
Not a fan, huh?
No, I don't think so.
I think it's one of those things where if you play it growing up, you know what I mean? Like you're kind of used to it. You kind of know a little bit about like where you're supposed to go and what items do what. But if you're just trying to jump into it like a super fresh run, it's going to be tough. You know, it's going to be really hard. Our buddy DMC was watching him play it live and over on Twitch. And he was hating it his first playthrough. And then he came back, he played it again for like another hour, and he was like, all right, I'm starting to get like the appeal of the game, you know what I mean? And then by his third like playthrough, he actually seemed like he was enjoying it a little bit, and that was nice to see. So I do think that maybe with the more time you play a point and click, you'll probably enjoy it a little bit more.
Probably, yeah.
Or if you don't like point and clicks, you just don't like point and clicks, and it's totally fine.
Yeah, one or the other.
Number 10 for me was The Lion King. And this isn't because it's not a beautiful game. It doesn't have great music. Even like controls weren't that terrible. It was just so hard. It's just such a hard game. Yeah. And honestly, dude, maybe if it didn't have that waterfall sequence, maybe it wouldn't have fallen so low for me here.
Yeah.
But it didn't even feel like rewarding. Like it just was like, oh my God, like I just want to get through the game. You know what I mean? Like I didn't enjoy it being hard. It was just one of those things that was just a negative about the game. It was just hard.
Yeah. And I think that's probably why I have it right here at 9.
Nice. Okay. Very cool.
Yeah, dude. It was hard. It wasn't, I don't know. It wasn't as annoying as like War of the Monsters, but like, it was fine, like you said, until the fucking waterfall, man, and then just that was it. Nope, sorry.
Even the stampede part was really hard, but that was more like challenging, like in a fun way. But the waterfall segment was just like, if they never had this in the game, it would probably be a really good game.
Yeah, it honestly felt impossible, so I gave up.
I think the worst part is after I completed the waterfall part. I went to hit save state on my emulator and I didn't even accidentally load state. I save stated and then my game like crashed and then I went to go load state and it was gone. And I was just like, well, that's all I'm playing in The Lion King because I'm not going through all that again.
At least you beat the waterfall.
Yeah, I got right up to the top, save state. So I have no idea what's after the water. No, I mean, I looked it up, but like I wouldn't have had any idea if the internet didn't exist, I would have never had a chance.
Oh yeah.
All right, number 9, I have Aladdin. And it's weird because I actually enjoyed Aladdin. I thought it was a pretty fun game. It wasn't nearly as hard as I remembered it being as a kid. But the Genesis version looked a lot harder, so maybe that was the version that I played as a kid. Watching you play it on Twitch, I was like, "Oh man, this version looks tough." But
it was pretty tough.
The Super Nintendo version I beat in like one sitting in like a half hour or 40 minutes or something like that. So that wasn't that bad. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I liked most of what the Lion King most of what Aladdin had to offer. It just falls kind of low because I just happen to like all these games a lot better. I think this season was pretty good in terms of it didn't have like games that would blow us away, really, minus like a couple of them. But I just felt like the quality of games was like probably all like slightly above average at least. So, I mean, with the, I would say that War of Monsters probably isn't above average, and Quake 64 probably isn't above average. But other than that, I feel like all these other games are probably above average.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
What do you have for number 8?
At 8, I have Contra all the way down at number 8.
Oh, snap.
I just felt like that was another game that was
just too hard.
Hard for no reason. And I don't think at one point in that game I was actually having fun playing.
Huh. That makes me that one I guess I'm a little surprised, because I know you don't like platformers, but I feel like that one's more of like a run and gun, and I thought that you would like a run and gun much more than a platformer.
If they gave me, I don't know, a little more leeway with health, you know?
Yeah. But getting hit once and being dead kind of sucks, huh?
It's rough, dude. Really rough. It's just annoying.
I think that game with the wild guns health system would probably be a little bit better. Yeah. Because you can get hit, I think, 5 times before you lose a life on wild guns.
Yeah, 3 or 5, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would be a little bit better. All right. I'm very interested to see how this top half of your list goes then, because you've taken out 2 of my top 5 already. 2 of my top 4. 2 of my top 4? I don't know, something like that.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes, I guess. But number 8 for me is Power Stone 2. And I actually, again, another one of those games where I like it a lot. It just falls lower than the rest of these games when it comes to which ones would I want to play again at some point. And I think that's ultimately, a great indicator of how much I enjoyed the game.
Mm-hmm.
So Power Stone 2 we played together on Twitch. You can check out the playthrough video of it on our channel already. And I mean, I had a great time with that one. You used the shuriken lady. I can't remember what her name was, but she was amazing.
Yeah, that was fun.
What do you got for number 7?
Yeah, I have Power Stone right at number 7.
So. Oh, okay. So we're not far off on that one. At least.
No. It was fun. But yeah, I think the top half,
they're just better games, right?
Just better. Yeah. I had more fun playing the rest of those games.
To round out the bottom half for me, I have what was probably the hardest game we played all season long, but it felt satisfying beating it. Even if I used rewind, I don't even care. Like it still felt very satisfying beating it.
Did it. Yeah.
And it was Super Ghouls and Ghosts for the Super Nintendo. That was a really fun game, and
I liked it.
For what it's worth, like it looked great. The sound effects were awesome. Not much of a story, obviously, but I like the power up system that they have there. The fact that there's a ton of different weapons makes it so much fun to just try out different weapons against different enemies and stuff like that. So yeah, I felt like it had a lot to offer, and especially for being so difficult, it felt really rewarding, at least.
Yeah, for sure.
Would you have at number 6, starting off your top half?
So 5 and 6 were probably the hardest 2 for me to pick. They could go back and forth depending on like how I feel at a certain moment, I guess. But at number 6 is where I had Aladdin for Genesis.
Oh, okay. Oh, that was a lot higher than I expected it to be. So Aladdin for me landed all the way at number 9.
Yeah, it did.
So you really enjoyed Aladdin, huh?
I did, yeah. I think mostly because of the final boss fight. It was hard, but it was like fun and cool.
Right.
And I like cool boss fights, that's my jam.
You got to check out the SNES boss fight. Just like look up a YouTube video of it, because it looks really cool. It looks really cool. It looks a lot easier than the Genesis version, though, to be fair. But it is pretty fun. All right. Number 6 for me is Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I had a great time with this game. It's just the rest of these games either blew me away for the first time I ever played it, or have a lot of nostalgic, reason behind wanting to play it again.
Yeah.
So Mario and Luigi is a brand new game for me. As far as RPGs go, I don't know that the gameplay can really get better, right? Because it's so like immersive in the sense that you have to be paying attention always. You can't just button mash your way through like a normal RPG battle where you're just hitting like attack, you know what I mean, over and over and over again. You have to pay attention with the timing based things where you're either timing your jump onto the person or you're timing a dodge or whatever the case may be, or you can do like the brothers combo attacks. So there's so many different ways to play that game specifically, and then there's platforming involved like within the actual game when you're walking from town to town or whatever the case may be. So yeah, as far as RPG goes, I don't know that really the gameplay gets any better for an RPG series than the Mario and Luigi series. However, for me, just like I said, just these other games end up a little bit higher on the list. What do you have at 5?
So 5 is where I have Ghouls and Ghosts.
Okay.
Because I mean, like you said, it was hard as shit, and it probably wouldn't be that high if I didn't play it on Switch with Rewind, because I probably wouldn't have gotten as far. Or I think did I beat it? I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, it was fun. Cool boss fights, cool music, like the aesthetic of it, you know. Yeah, that game was awesome.
I had a great time playing that one.
Probably be a lot lower without Rewind, but I had it and I used it.
Do you think it would be more towards like number 10, number 9 if you never had Rewind? Because like honestly, without Rewind, do you think you would have gotten past stage 1?
I would have tried real hard.
I don't know that I would have. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
And not because like I didn't eventually get good enough to do that, but I did eventually get good enough to do it all in one shot. But because I had like Rewind basically restores my patience level. You know what I mean? Like if I didn't have Rewind, I'd have to be starting over every single, other death or whatever. So yeah, Rewind definitely kind of saved the level of patience I would have not had for this game, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Number 5 for me. Now hold on to your seats, buddy.
I'm holding on.
All of them.
I know what you're going to say.
What?
Just go ahead.
Super Mario 64.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Oh, okay. Was that
something else?
Okay. No, Super Mario 64 landed at 5 for me. And I feel like that seems low considering some of the ones that I still have on my list. But this is one that it is nostalgic, right? But once I get past that nostalgic part in the game, so essentially like the nostalgic parts of the game are basically that front end of the castle, right? Like the first snowman level. It's basically like the first like 3 or 5 levels or whatever, and then playing Bowser once or twice. But after that, like when you unlock that big staircase room to go up to the top to fight Bowser the last time, and like that big long hallway, I remember like nothing of that part of the game. So that's when it really became obvious to me that I don't like this game as much as I thought I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was really just like the beginning part, I was having a lot of fun playing the same parts I played when I was a kid. And then when I got to that part, I was like, you know what? This game, I'm starting to see the flaws. I'm starting to see the flaws a lot more, especially with the camera and just how slippery Mario can be. It can certainly be frustrating to try and control him in that game, especially coming from Super Mario World, which I feel like is a classic, and I feel like it literally can't be beaten as a platformer. So it's real tough to go from that one to Mario 64, where the controls are just like literally opposite sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, I get it.
What about you for number 4?
So this number 4 is where I'm gonna put Super Mario World, unfortunately.
Okay, that's high for you though for a platformer.
Yeah, it's probably the best. I mean, I don't really have to say probably at this point, but like the best 2D platformer ever, right?
In my opinion.
Probably, like most people's opinions.
Everyone else should share the same opinion, but I'm not going to say that they do necessarily.
I think most of them do. But yeah, it should be higher, but that's not really my cup of tea.
This is your Zelda. This is where I put Zelda at 5, and you're like, what are you doing? And you're like, look, exactly. I get it. It should be 1 or 2, but it's not for me. And that's okay, because it's totally fine. It's your opinion, buddy.
All right, cool. Thanks for making me feel better about it.
Yeah. Number 4 for me is Maniac Mansion, the game that you put in number 10.
Damn. I don't get that.
You don't get why I like it so much?
Honestly, I don't, but it's okay. You know,
this game is super nostalgic for me. I played it all the time as a kid. I will say though, it can be super frustrating to play, especially the whole like point and click, like the click on this person, go to door, open door, like all that is very, it's very like monotonous. It's it can be very annoying, very tedious. It's just, I don't know, man. There's something about it where like I've played this game so much and there's still characters I haven't beaten it with yet, and it still makes me want to go back and beat it with those characters.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just one of those games for me that I'll always, to me, it's a top 5 NES game, like in my opinion, of the NES games I've played so far. Again, I've never played like the Mega Man series or anything like that. So if you're going to yell Mega Man in the comments, I totally get it. I haven't played it yet. So Maniac Mansion for me is a top 5 NES game. So
that's cool, man.
Yeah, I had to put it up here. Where are you at for number 3?
Super Mario 64 is where I put that at number 3. I had to struggle with words there for a second.
Hey, dude, words are tough.
Yeah. I think I agree with you that the nostalgia glasses wore a little bit. I thought, it would have been contending for number 1 for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you're right, man. After you even I beat Bowser the first time, and after that I was like, do I want to keep playing? I don't know. I don't think I do.
Right, you didn't care as much anymore. You're just like, all right, yeah. It kind of drags on a little bit. There's too many stars, I feel like. I mean, it's nice that there's a lot of worlds, but you need 70 stars to beat Bowser the 3rd time, and the boss battles don't get any different. They just get longer essentially, because you kill him once the first time, you kill him once the second time, then I think you have to hit him 3 times the last time. So it doesn't get very much different there. I will say, however, though, Nintendo should be applauded because it's still one of the best 3D platformers ever.
Oh, right? Yeah, for sure.
And it was the first one. So they should get a ton of credit for that. But that doesn't change the fact that it ages poorly still.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, as long as we agree there. My number 3 is Contra 3, The Alien Wars. And I was actually blown away with this game because initially when I started playing it, I was like, kind of hate it. Really, really tough. But then I just stuck with it and kept playing. And I was just like, I'm kind of understanding the love for Contra right now. And I think Contra is one of those games that kind of reminds me in the sense of Maniac Mansion, because if you didn't play it back then, you're probably not going to really dig it now. And the sense is like back then you didn't have a ton of games, right? So like if you bought Contra, you played Contra and you just kept playing and you would keep dying and you kept playing and you keep dying. And then eventually you'd get good enough to just die a little less. and you know what I mean? So eventually like you end up playing it so much because it's one of the only like 3 games that you have at the time when you're like 8 or 9 years old or whatever. So you end up loving it because you played it so much, you ended up getting good at it. I totally understand it from that perspective. So I just tried to keep that kind of like mentality playing it. And I think it worked because it ended up being one of my favorite games of the season.
That's cool. I never got there with it, but
I get it, you did. Number 2 for you.
Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga.
Nice. Yeah, you were a big fan of this one, huh?
I really was. This was a new game for me. I never had played it before, but had strong Super Mario RPG vibes. And I'm gonna spoiler alert here. If we play that game, it's probably gonna get a perfect score from me. So.
Mario RPG.
Yeah.
You like that game better than Chrono Trigger?
I don't know if it's better, but they're both like they're right there with each other. Yeah,
I get it.
So any game that gives me those kind of vibes of a game that's that good, it's got to be pretty high, right?
I mean, I would think so.
Yeah, the combat. It's mostly the combat. It's like so much different in those games than any other regular old RPG, like you were saying.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I was just gonna say, like I was saying, with the timed combat and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. There are other RPGs that are coming out now that are kind of implementing that. Sea of Stars is one of them. I'm super excited for that game. That game comes out in August. Same developers as The Messenger, so I'm super pumped for that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I already ordered like the limited run version of the game, so I won't get stuck with the whole Messenger thing where I want the Switch version. It's like $200 to go find a used copy of that. I'm not going to get stuck with that because I already paid for the thing. I'm going to get it.
There you go.
Yeah, so I'm pumped about it.
Nice.
Number 2 for me is Mario Superstar Baseball, and I had so much fun playing this one with you.
Mhm.
And even like I played it by myself in preparation to play it with you for the playthrough.
Mhm.
And I didn't want to put it down. It reminded me of all the times I played it when I was a kid, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
couldn't wait to do the draft versus you like I used to do with my brother all the time. And man, if I just had a little bit more time, dude, I would love to get into a league. I would love to
Oh, it's
make
fun.
this a league and every single week play at least a few of these games.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there's so much fun. And please check out the guys over at Dinger City again on YouTube. They are fantastic. Yep. They have an amazing community. They have an amazing Discord as well. So check all that stuff out. They actually made a emulator that it's basically like an extension of like the Dolphin emulator that runs GameCube games. And this has net play. So you can literally link up and play people in Mario Baseball across the world.
Yeah, basically whenever you want. I mean, they have a group finder, like an LFG built into the Discord. It's pretty dope.
It's so crazy. Like I said that on the show, on the episode that we had with Andre, where I was just like, how crazy. Like I can barely make myself food to survive. And then somebody was like, I wish I could play Mario Superstar Baseball with people in a different state. And then they made it happen.
They did it.
It's wild. It's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
People are so talented.
It's insane.
And I'm assuming that is your number 1, right?
That is 100% my number 1 game.
Has to be. You still play it, right?
This season, I do still play it. And I'm going to be playing it for a long time, I think, now that we got this whole net play shit going.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
It's just, I don't know, man. It's too much fun. It's just too much fun.
Yeah, it's a really good time. And like I said, it goes really, really deep. You had no idea, like it says like base stats for characters, but really until you dive into it, you have no idea how deep it goes with like these character stats and how some people have different types of hits than other players. And it's just so crazy.
It's wild
how in depth this game is. I would love for them to make a new one. Honestly, even if it wasn't new and they just ported it to the Switch, it would be fantastic.
I'd pay money for it.
Yeah. Would you pay $150?
Maybe. I don't know. I got it working pretty well on my PC. So.
Well, I was just trying to think of like an astronomical price to pay for like a single video game that was literally just a port. And I'm like, I know you love the game that much. Would you pay 150 if that's what it costs?
I don't know about 150. If it didn't work on my computer, something happened, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. And number 1 for me is obviously Super Mario World. It's my number 1 favorite game of all time. So how could it not be number 1 of season 4? I still feel like it's the perfect platformer. I don't know how it could really be beaten. Although I will say The Messenger is very, very good. But I think it's a little bit different. Still, Super Mario World is used today, whether people are creating courses using Super Mario World on Mario Maker, or if they're doing Mario World like Mario Kaizos. A lot of people play that on like TikTok and Twitch and YouTube and stuff like that. So, and people really aren't changing the formula of what Mario World is. They're just playing people's generated courses. You know what I mean? Like they're just playing custom courses of Mario World. So that shows how well the game is aged. It's perfect in my opinion. But yeah, so there's our countdown. There's our ranking, I guess, of season 4. As far as seasons go, buddy, where does this one rank for you? Do you think it's like one of the best seasons that we've had, or do you think it's more meh than the other ones?
Oh, geez, that's a tough question for me to. It definitely is, because
You think it is the best, or you think it's just
I don't know
up
about
there?
the best, but it's definitely up there because if you think about the top 4 games, or maybe more than that for you, but the top 4 games on here are just fucking absolute bangers on my list anyways.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we've had more like a higher amount of like top tier games in a season than this.
Yeah, I think that checks out. I would say that for you probably too, this game contains the least amount of games rated under 3, like a 3-star for you. We had one season where you gave like Resident Evil 3 Nemesis was less than 3, Bart versus the Space Mutants was less than 3, Columns 3 was less than 3. Season 1, you had Monster Rancher 4 less than 3, Medieval, Superman 64. We had another season where, let's see, you had Sonic 3D Blast, cool spot. So like, I don't know. I felt like ratings wise, this was probably our best season.
Yeah, I think that probably checks out, right?
As far as like a median like ranking would go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still my favorite. It's hard to say because Super Mario World's my favorite game of all time. So it feels like I'm almost obligated to say that this is my favorite season since I got to play my favorite game.
Yeah.
But we did get to play some really, really good games. Maniac Mansion, again, is one of my favorites from when I was a kid. Super Mario 64 is a very nostalgic one. Contra 3 blew me away. Mario Superstar Baseball is much better than I remembered it being.
Hell yeah.
As far as top 5 goes, so we're essentially celebrating our year here. We had 4 seasons. Every 4 seasons is a year. And so after playing a year's worth of games, we've played 48 games this year. What's your top 5 look like after playing 48 games?
So at the end of last season, I had, starting at 1, Fable, Link to the Past, Suikoden 2, Wild Guns, Evo. And Evo's going to be out after this season. Evo's out. Stuck at number 6. And Mario Superstar Baseball, at least for right now, how I'm feeling, talking to you right now.
Yeah.
It's number 1, buddy.
Number 1. Wow, it hops Fable.
Yep.
So can you say that again? So you got baseball at the top, then you have Fable second.
Fable. Yep. Link to the Past.
Yep.
Suikoden 2. And Wild Guns with a Z.
I mean, it doesn't have a Z, but we can put a Z.
It's not. I want to spell it with a Z.
You can if you want to, Limp Bizkit. That's awesome, dude. I did not think Mario Baseball would be number 1 for you, but I did think that you would have 2 games to hop on this list from this season. I thought Super Mario 64 was going to be the other one. Surprisingly enough, it wasn't even the top 2.
It almost did, but it was not nearly as fun as Wild Guns. You know what I mean? Wild Guns is staying up there for a while, dude.
Yeah, you think so, huh?
I think so, man. I don't know. I guess we'll see you next season.
You feel like you could like reevaluate, like if you get a Super Mario RPG, is that not going to push Wild Guns off?
I don't know. Maybe it might. It might not. We might have to go to top 10 after that.
I think we probably will. Next season we'll probably go to top 10 just because at that point we'll be playing over 50 games. And
yeah,
I think,
so many games.
I think that'll be enough to kind of warrant a top 10 list instead of a top 5.
Yeah.
But my top 5 list, at number 5, I have Castlevania. Number 4, I have Super Mario Brothers 3. Number 3, I have TMNT Turtles in Time. 2, I have Donkey Kong Country. And number 1, I have Super Mario World. 3 Makes Super sense. Nintendo games and 2 regular Nintendo games. So not much diversity on my list. Whereas you have a GameCube game, an Xbox game, a Super Nintendo game, a PlayStation 1 game, and a Super Nintendo game. 4 different consoles represented on yours.
Dang.
It's pretty funny to see that, though.
Yeah, I like it.
For sure. All right. That's about it for us for this week. I do want to say, if you would like to, you can support the podcast on a monetary level by going over to Patreon, as little as $2 a month. And you can get your games thrown onto the Patreon list, which is a much shorter list than our master list. And we will be playing 3 Patreon games every single season, once a month. And we pick from those Patreon games when we randomize. So if you want to do that, head over to Patreon. Link is in the description below. Next week, we will be talking about Shadowrun for the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. I'm playing the Super Nintendo version. Yaiser is playing the Sega Genesis version. And we will be having the guys from Drink a Beer play a game. So go check out them on YouTube. And yeah, let us know what you think of our lists. For any games that you've played, feel free to leave your list in the comment below. I'd love to read them. And let us know what you think of Shadowrun, because I'd love to read your comments next week as well.
Yeah.
So take care, everybody.
See you later.